I was out hunting bear with someone once, but I was kind of asleep at the switch when a grizzly came out of nowhere and charged at us, for my rifle was put away and the safety was on. I began changing from my boots into my tennis shoes, my partner saying, "What the heck are you doing that for? You can't outrun a bear." "Well, I only have to outrun you, not the bear." However, after the bear ate my friend, he was still very hungry and came after me. Well, stupid me still wasn't ready, and as I tried to get my rifle out, I tripped over a log, and soon the bear was upon me. I tickled his stomach, and what I later realized were his gonzolas. The bear became so happy that it totally relaxed, and I was able to walk away unharmed. I looked back and saw that the bear was waving, saying, "Come back, come back." After another, more successful bear hunt, my companions and I divided up the spoils, and I went home and put a bag of bear meat in the freezer. About a week later, I thought that I might cook some of it up, but when I looked in the freezer, it was gone. I called out to my grandmother in the next room. "Did you see the meat that I had in the freezer?" She replied, "Oh, my card-playing ladies and I ate it about a week ago." "Oh, that's okay. I was just wondering what had happened to it. How was it?" "Oh, it was so delicious. Everyone loved it so much that we finished it." Do you know what that was? Not really. Some different kind of tasty steak? It was bear meat. There was no reply. A few minutes, my grandmother came into the kitchen looking rather pale and clutching her stomach, saying, "I have a really bad stomachache from that bear meat." "That was over a week ago. When did this stomachache begin?" "Oh, just a minute or so ago. I really feel bad. Have any Pepto-Bismol?" I remember a story about horses, although it was really more about a bear. Shortly after arriving at the camp, we rode our horses down the faint path of the trail around the mountain, foolishly leaving all of our weapons behind since our bear hunting licenses were only good for the morrow. We were almost around the mountain when, suddenly, the horses reared up and stood their ground in alarm. Someone was chaining a dead 2,000-pound mule to a tree to use as bait for the legendary grizzlies of this region. But he was not yet prepared for hunting either, nor for the bear that had just appeared. Standing and roaring to his full height of over 9 feet, the bear wanted the mule, but the luckless would-be hunter was now in the way. I had to admire the cool of the hunter, though, as he stood his ground and pulled out a measly .38 pistol. Sitting upon our horses, we cursed ourselves, for we had rifles and .357 Magnums back at the camp. Not that they would deflect the bear's adrenaline at this close range any more than the .38 pea shooter.
The hunter waved us back, indicating that he would cover our retreat, and he soon fired a shot into the ground just in front of the bear as a kind of a hopeless warning. Well, the bear growled all the more, and his long claws appeared as he roared, the flesh around them retracting to reveal their full and deadly length. The grizzly took a mighty swipe upon the ground at the spot where the bullet had landed and gouged out a large hole in just one dig. We backed up a bit, and so did the hunter, being careful not to move away too fast. We inched ever on backwards, trying to get clear, although fully realizing that a bear could outrun a horse. When the hunter was far enough away as well, the bear raced for the mule, ripping it off its chains and digging a hole and burying it in a matter of a few minutes. Our horses would not go forward, and so we had to go all the way back around the mountain. Loaded for bear, we built 2 blinds out of tree branches about 40 feet apart called East and West, for I was an Easterner and my guide was a Westerner. Of course, there were jokes about which side of the nation could shoot the best. I had 5 shells, as did he, varying in weight and precision. I loaded the 180, saving the 225 and the 3 150s. After a short while, we spotted the bear coming over the ridge, it stopping about 150 yards away and then standing and sniffing the air, moving its head from side to side and all about. It then moved a few feet forward and repeated this behavior. It knew that something was up, but it didn't know where we were since the wind was in our favor. It was the same mighty and massive bear from yesterday that had buried a mule in a minute. I was waiting to take the devastating spine shot, but after a while it became clear that the bear was pushing forward and was not going to turn around. Meanwhile, the guide had been giving me the thumbs up sign again and again. We dared not speak. Still, I didn't shoot, for it was not best to shoot a bear from the front. The guide threw his hands up as a signal to go for it already, and so I gauged the wind and allowed for gravity, aiming just an inch above the center of the heart. The bear was still for a moment and in my sights, so I squeezed off the round, quickly reloading the 225 round. The bear fell to the ground and the guide yelled out, "Hey, you got it with one shot, I guess Easterners can shoot." The guide shouldn't have spoken, plus he had spoken too soon. The bear got up, howling with rage, and then headed towards us at a good clip. I put another shot to the other side of the heart and the bear stumbled a bit, but then resumed its speed. 2 shots to the heart and it was still coming. I got another round off at 75 yards and another at 50 yards, using my 150s that were good for a moving target, hitting the bear twice somewhere, in my haste of necessity. But the bear was still racing at full speed now, but 25 yards away I had 1 bullet left. If you've ever seen the layout of a human body, seeing the muscles beneath the skin, I can tell you that that is nothing compared to a bear's. They are not chubby and full of fat, but are lean, mean machines full of incredible power. So it still came on after I shot the last bullet. Meanwhile, the guide had put 5 bullets into the bear and it was still charging. I got out my knife. The guide looked at me as if to say, what the heck was I going to do with that? The bear, but now 10 feet away, finally sprawled head first to the ground, its adrenaline finally gone, and slid up to with a foot of me and my knife. I backed up 10 feet. "Is it dead?" the guide asked, going up to its front. "Hold it," I warned. "Never approach from the front, go around the back of it." He poked it with a stick. There was no response. I took my share home and put it in the refrigerator. While I was out, my aunt noted it and said to her friend, "This meat is getting dark, it must not have been wrapped properly." "Hey, let's have some," said my aunt's friend, "while it's still good." "Ah, it's so delicious," they both agreed. My grandmother soon arrived and told them that they had just eaten bear meat. They clutched their stomachs and complained of terrible pains.